everybody. Welcome back to RedMug Music. I'm Brian. So glad you could be back with me today. This is so much fun to just sit down and talk about Duran Duran and review their albums and listen to the music and let you know what I'm thinking. And you guys have done such a great job with commenting and just talking about the music. And a lot of you have been inspired to go back and listen to it, these albums again that you haven't heard in so long. Or you've been inspired to listen to it a little bit differently, or I've said something to make you hear it differently, and you now enjoy it in a completely different way. And that's really the main point of all this, to enjoy music that we know and have loved in the past, and enjoying it again. So hopefully we can continue on with today's album. I'm going to be covering Liberty by Duran Duran. The Liberty fell on my ranking list, I think at a number 11. And Liberty was one of my favorites, actually, because it came out in 1990. And I was actually still in high school at that point. But this was the album that I listened to for the most part when I was in college. So it was kind of special to me, and I really enjoyed it. And for all you Warren lovers out there, this is a Warren album, as you know, and I do like his album, and I know as we go through the album, I'm going to be saying a lot of good things about Warren, so get ready. Now, a little history on Liberty. Liberty came out in 1990, and this was the first album that they had Warren Cucurullo and Sterling Campbell, that they were actually pledged in as actual Duran Duran members. So they were new. Roger Taylor was not in the band. Andy Taylor was not in the band. So we had a new dynamic going on here. Come to find out, well, I mean, I knew this anyway, but John Taylor, he had a substance abuse issue. So he had addictions that he was dealing with. And also, by what I read from producer Simon Le Bon, was actually suffering from writer's block, just like I said with Pop Trash. And I remember the producer said, everything was summer. It's just like everything he wanted to say was just about summer, because he just couldn't think of anything else to write about. But what happened is, when Duran Duran were coming up with all these songs, they sounded really good and they got really excited, but the songs didn't really come out in the recording the way they wanted them to. So per Simon, he said that they just lost their concentration and they just weren't paying close enough attention. And I think what he means is just whenever, they had the demos and the ideas for the songs, and they just didn't translate that into a good recording. And that's what he's talking about. Now, when he goes back and looks at, Liberty, and say, when asked, would you change anything about it? Well, of course he would not change anything about it, because it's, it's history. And two of their best songs, My Antarctica and Sirius, came from this. So it's like, what can you do? But, with John's drug addiction and Simon Le Bon's problems that he was having, and, the new 5 members, trying to make it work, it just didn't work. All right, let's get started. Song number 1, Violence of Summer, Love's Taking Over. Very first thing I'm noticing, and I've always noticed this, the piano in the beginning, it sounds like he strikes a bad chord. Listen to it on the normal album, on the Liberty album, and it's like bum 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 bum. It's like one bad chord that I just noticed. This was released as a single, and I don't think it should have been released as a single. I think it's a really good song, and I think it's a good beginning song for the album. I've always thought that the chorus was extremely weak, but for the most part, it's a good song. It's a good beginning. It's definitely okay, but we'll go on to the next song, which is called Liberty. So I was listening to this album earlier. Actually, I've listened to it about 100 times lately. And Liberty, it starts out with, let me start it over here so I can tell you exactly what it is. Well, it's a keyboard. I mean, it's all synth, and the sound that it has is not my favorite. I don't think it's a really good sound, but I do like it when the normal keyboards, the chords are being played by Nick Rhodes. And I think what should have happened is instead of that wah, 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 wah sounds, they should have just not done that. Sorry about that. They should have not done that at all. But when you get into the song, when you get past that, it's a really super good song. Very good vocals for Simon, and just a strong song altogether, except for the chorus. But it's just a little weak. It's a little on the weak side. But don't forget, before you get mad, because a lot of you do, this is one of my favorite Duran Duran albums. But I'm I still have opinions here. So let's jump over to Hothead, which is song number 3. Now, song number 3, Hothead. Now, a lot of you wonder why I don't like Warren Cucurullo. And it's not that I don't like him. I'm just not very fond of how he plays a lot of his guitar. And the beginning of Hothead is one of those, examples of just a sound that comes from Warren that I just don't like. I think for the most part, Hothead is not a good song. It doesn't have any of the verses aren't very good. The chorus is not very good. I mean, it's just all around really not a great song. But then it goes in time. Time will change the picture, which I think is really good. I think they should have expanded on that rather than just say Hothead, Evolution, Nonstop Evolution so much. I think that kind of weakened it a little bit. But one good thing I do like about Hothead is the transition between Hothead and Sirius, the next song, which is my favorite song on this album. If you listen to the abrupt stop of Hothead, and then it just goes into that melodic beauty that is Sirius, it's a really good transition. So we do have that. Sirius may be in the top 5 my favorite Duran Duran songs that exist. It is perfect. It's Warren did a great job on guitar on this one. Simon Le Bon is perfect on this. The backing vocals is really good. I like how they break down the chorus. I think this a well done song. I don't have to tell you how good the song is because I think everybody loves this song. Sterling Campbell, he was really good in this song too. It's just an overall great band song. So let's get on to the number 5 song called All Along the Water. Again, more guitar by Warren that's not my favorite. And again, the chorus is not the greatest, but I think the groove of the song is enjoyable, and I find myself just kind of singing along. But the effects, the guitar, it's not. I'm not the biggest fan. All right, let's go on to My Antarctica. Now, this is the second or first best song on the entire album. This is so good. Again, great job by Warren. Nick Rhodes' part, that piano do 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 do. It's so simple, and you would think that it wouldn't work because it's so redundant, but it just kind of it's kind of the pulse of the song. But I think the most beautiful and most important part of this song is Simon Le Bon. His vocals is phenomenal. The chorus is phenomenal. His voice is strong and perfect. So yeah, Antarctica is definitely my favorite song. One of my favorite songs on this album. First Impressions, which is the song number 7 on this album. It's a good song. I think the song structure could have been worked a little bit more. That it's almost like that finger snap, but I think it's electronic. Yeah, it's like an electronic finger snap. I'm not sure. It's not the best sound, but Simon Le Bon again is doing a really good job. And then this is the song that makes me want to reach for the guitar. And actually I did yesterday. Warren, he's killing it. He just goes complete rock on this, but it's just, you can tell that there's something missing. What happens is what's missing in the first verse before the chorus is you don't have that keyboard. So I think in Duran Duran music, you're used to hearing a keyboard, which kind of like lays in the middle of the song. And it's the backbone that you may not even notice, but you notice when it's gone. So yeah, First Impressions is a really good song. Read My Lips, I think, is a super good song. And I think when they were coming up with it, they were probably super excited. And then maybe it didn't translate exactly the way they wanted it to. Because even though it's a really good song and it's got so much attitude. Oh, Simon Le Bon. He sings this with so much attitude. But that squeak, 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 squeak. It's like, who came up with that idea? I just think, in my personal opinion, I think what's happening on this album is the ideas are really good and the songs are very strong, but the choice of how they play it just kind of fell short. Read My Lips is a really good song, but again, I think I don't think it translated the way it should have. All right, the next song, Can You Deal With It? See, they're using the keyboard again at the very beginning, and then the drum enters. I think that worked for this song. I think a lot of these other songs, it didn't really work. And then the guitar comes in, you get the piano going, and then the bass kicks in, and then Simon starts. This is a really good song. I like Can You Deal With It a lot. All right, number 10. Again, it's got a really good start. It starts out a little bit more brooding and a little bit darker than the rest of the album has been. So I feel like maybe this was a little bit of a different idea. But the verses are really good. This is, again, like I said before, Duran Duran has this ability to just kind of have a low key verses, not getting too crazy, but then get into the chorus and it goes into full melodic tones. I really like that a lot. Now, it sounded like he was going to get into the chorus, but it was just kind of like a pre-chorus, and then he stops and then goes back to the second verse. So I like that anticipation. That's another thing Duran Duran does. I think sometimes they give you that anticipation, knowing that you're going to have some good stuff coming later on. I just love music like that. But Venice Drowning, I think it's, again, like I said, it's brooding, it's dark. It's, it's grayer than the rest of the album, but it's got really good vocals. It's haunting, really. Maybe this should have made my top 5 most haunting tracks by Duran Duran. I'll put that up above if you haven't seen that. It's a pretty good watch. But then now we're into the chorus, and it's not as melodic as a lot of his other stuff is, but it's still really good because he does a fantastic job singing the song. It's really good. Last track, number 11, Downtown. I don't like the way this starts out. It's almost like a little shaker, whatever that is. It's just a very light drum hit. I'm not sure what that is. But then the verses is really good. Simon's singing's very good. The chorus, I think, lacks a little bit. But again, it's got that Simon Le Bon deep voice going. It's good. I really like it. Actually, I'm going to take this song down to like the last 40 seconds. And this is the last song on the album, so I want to know if it's got a last song sound to it. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, I always talk about the perfect album or an album that's done well. It's got a really good intro or good first one to two songs. It's got good transitions. I think what they should have done, actually, I'm at the end of the song now. I'll go back it up a little bit, go to about a minute. I think the last song on an album is okay to drag in the very end and just wind down slowly. I think that is a very good end of an album, and it leaves you feeling like it's done. I think this kind of does it, but I think all they're doing is just being redundant with the chorus, and I think it works. I think Downtown was the right choice. I think it was the right choice for the last song. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pause it here, and we're done with all 12 tracks. It's 11 songs. It took 51 minutes. That's a little longish. Not bad, but a little longish for an album. It's good. Like I said in the beginning, this is one of my favorite albums. I've enjoyed this the most because of the time that it hit. I was listening to this in 90, 91, 92, my senior year and into my college years. So this was my Duran Duran. So I just learned to love it, and I listened to it so many times. So that's pretty much my thoughts on this album. Again, it's one of my favorites, but it's not the greatest. Duran Duran album out there, but it's still Duran Duran, so it's good. Before we go, I want to pause. I really want you to, if you're thinking about a vacation, Holly Carter is the best person you could possibly go to. If you're wanting to go to Disney or Universal or book a cruise, she is the person you want to go to. She works with the Magic for Less Travel that does a lot of work for Disney and Universal, and they are platinum earmarked, and they are fabulous. They are some of the best professionals in the industry. So if you need to book something with Disney, Universal, or a cruise, you can scan the QR code on the screen and get a no obligation quote, and you can be on your way to getting that vacation that you so highly deserve. So anyway, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at RedMug Music, and also check out my merchandise shop. I've got a few things in there, and I'm going to be growing that as we go. And I want to take a second to thank all my subscribers. I think you guys are fantastic. You have been commenting on these Duran Duran videos like crazy, and it has been so much fun talking to you guys. So just continue the great work, and if you haven't subscribed yet, gosh, go ahead and do it, because I've got a lot of great videos coming out. And don't forget, there'll be other ones mixed in. I'm thinking about doing a John Mayer, just a really quick one on his new upcoming album. And I like to sprinkle some other stuff in there, but for the most part, we're doing Duran Duran. So again, thanks for joining me today, and I will see you all next week.